Welcome to the Saucy Scribes podcast.
I'm Alex, your resident book psycho.
I'm Ashley, your crystal-loving cat lady.
And I'm Allie, your aspiring author.
Welcome to the deep dive of chapters 29 through 39 of Fourth Wing. Woo! We're closing it out this week. Yep. Each week, as promised, we've concocted a cocktail that best captures this stretch of chapters. If you're new to Saucy Scribes podcast, you can find our weekly cocktail every Monday on our Instagram. Does everyone have their Wingleader's shadow? This week's drink is inspired by Liam Mari, rebellion-born, dimple-wielding protector and the ever-loyal wingman of Xaden Ryerson. He might not be the one giving the orders, but he's always right there, flying just behind our FMC, steady, fierce, and absolutely essential. It's bittersweet, complex, and dangerously easy to drink, just like our favorite Shadow in Red. And when you raise your glass, raise it high for the heartbreak, the loyalty, and the sacrifice to Liam Mari, gone but never forgotten. Cheers.
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 I'm already like tearing up and we haven't even talked about his death yet.
I know.
Okay, it's fine.
Spoiler.
Our Patreon is officially live. If you love the show, consider becoming a first-year scribe for just $5 a month. You'll get early access to ad-free episodes, a digital cocktail booklet for each book we cover, and an exclusive printable dust sleeve designed to mimic the look of vintage leather-bound books. Perfect for dressing up your romantasy shelf. This membership is a way to support the show and help us continue bringing this magical, messy, and swoony content to life. And if you've got a moment, we'd love if you rated and reviewed the podcast wherever you are listening.
Before we dive in, we need to give a spoiler warning. We will be discussing the entire series, including any extra POV chapters in the re-releases and anything Rebecca Yarros has said in interviews. If we reference another series spoiler, we will give a spoiler sound in the episode so you can skip ahead.
And lastly, a quick heads up from your saucy scribes. The fantasy romance world is full of magic and mayhem, but it also doesn't shy away from heavy themes. That means the books we cover may include emotional trauma, violence, or mature content that could be upsetting. For this particular book, Rebecca Yarros gives her own trigger warning, which you can read right before the maps in the book. So consider this your cozy but clear blanket trigger warning. Feel free to step away if needed. Your well-being comes first, always. All right, scribes, let's get into it.
All right. So we jump back in right after Violet kills Jack fucking Barlow. Everyone else is like, woohoo, justice, but Violet is not okay. She can't even enjoy her shiny new lightning signet because she thinks it means she's a walking weapon. But don't worry. Xaden is there like the best book boyfriend he is, making sure she knows she's really a kingdom-saving badass, unlike Dain. Then comes the iconic furniture-breaking sex scene. Time metaphorically stops. Clothes mostly drop, and they finally give in. Violet starts to realize she's catching real feelings, and Xaden, emotionally constipated as ever, hits her with a, I have no intention of falling for you, while actually fully in love. Sir, be serious. Cut to lightning training. Her aim sucks, but she's got Xaden mentally sexing her mid-session, so it balances out. Then she finds a cryptic letter from her dad hidden in a book, because of course that's where you hide world-shifting secrets. Remember, scribes hold all the power. Xaden teeters on the edge of telling her the venom truth, but nope, he decides making out is a better idea. Classic. But Violet is having none of that. If he at least won't own up to his feelings for her, he is getting his ass thrown out. Then we hit reunification day. Liam's the only marked one who shows, and Dain makes the biggest memory-stealing mistake of his life. Violet, unaware of the massive betrayal that just went down, goes to find Xaden on the parapet, brooding, of course, and admits she's in love with him, and he responds with his go-to emotional red flag, "You're going to be the death of me." Stop it. But then he finally breaks down. They get together for real, and Violet, absolute queen that she is, takes care of him emotionally, physically, and every other kind of way. We get another incredibly hot sex scene. Thank you again, Rebecca Yarros. Unfortunately, it all gets cut short by Garrick knocking at the door like the worst time DoorDash driver of all time. Surprise! It's War Games time. Just like that, they have to drop everything and fly straight to Avbean. But wait, before they even reach the creepy outpost, bam, another shocker. Griffin flyers show up and casually drop the bomb that the legendary enemy, the Venom, is real. And apparently, everyone but Violet already knew. Poor girl freaks out and calls Xaden a traitor. But is he really? They finally arrive at Athbean, which looks perfectly empty. Their mission? Simple. Don't die. Xaden realizes Dain swiped Violet's memory about his trips here, and they've all been sent to die. Drama. Faced with a brutal choice, leave Resin to the Venom or head to the actual War Games location. They obviously pick the harder path and fly into battle like the fearless riders they are. And well, it begins badly. Soleil and Fuel are taken out instantly. Liam, the ultimate protector and shadow, he and Day save Violet's life by throwing themselves in front of a wyvern, and Day fucking dies. With a final heartbreaking, "It's been my honor," Liam dies too. Yeah, pass the tissues. This part killed me. Violet gets attacked by a Venom and is stabbed with a poisonous dagger. Xaden evens the odds by sending shadows to blind the Venom, letting Violet kill it. With everyone on the brink of death, she hatches a desperate plan. Violet will use her lightning to take down the strongest Venom, hoping to wipe out most of the attacking wyvern. During the fight, Andarna stops time twice. First to let Violet scorch the Venom, then again to catch her when she collapses. Andarna is the real hero of this story. Xaden, panicked and determined and needing a fucking mender, flies Violet to Arisha, a secret city no one's supposed to know about. Violet wakes up beside the guy who'd literally burn the world for her. And just when you think they might actually get to talk things out, Brennan Soaringale walks in. Yep, not dead, very much alive. The fandom collectively loses it. Cliffhanger, nailed it. Whew! Okay, that was a lot to unpack. Poison, near death, secret powers, and dragons risking it all. But as intense as the action is, it's the mysteries behind it that really grab us. Now it's time to pull at the threads, dive into the theories, and unpack everything that's lurking beneath the surface. Welcome to Threads of Theory. My God.
Could we talk about more in this episode? I don't think so.
No.
So we return to our story in the flight field after the first battle of War Games. Violet killed Jack Barlow, and everyone cheers. Yes, finally, except we all know where that's going eventually. Except Violet is not celebrating. She's horrified she's taken her first life. She can't be even excited about her signet because all she sees it as is destruction and the cause of Jack's death. Your signet reveals who you are at your core, and Violet cannot understand how this is who she is at her core. But that's because she's viewing her power in the wrong way here. Mm-hmm. Did she kill Jack? Yes. But by doing so, protected so many people from the harm he could have done. Well, you know, we thought. Yeah. Violet is the ultimate protector. She is the one who stood up for Andarna, the weakest dragon, so long ago at Threshing, and she's going to be the one to stand up for an entire kingdom of innocents. This really is actually who she is at her core. She just doesn't see it that way at first.
She's given the power to protect.
Yes. Xaden knows this and is the one in this moment to reassure her that just because she gained ultimate power today does not mean she lost agency. With great power comes great responsibility.
Amen.
Yep. And she's the perfect person to shoulder that.
Yeah. And while Violet does celebrate the fact that she saved Liam, she can't help but wonder if she cheated death by saving him. Because let's not forget that she used Andarna's gift of time-stopping magic to save Liam, meaning Liam should have died in this moment. Do we think that this is maybe why Liam died in the battle at Athbean? Could this be Malik reclaiming the soul that was supposed to be his?
I honestly think it might.
I hate that.
Because it's the whole balance of magic thing.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I don't think young dragons are supposed to share their gifts. I think it's almost like breaking a law of magic in a way.
Yeah.
And I think it is almost like it getting corrected that she did cheat death and Malik wanted his soul all along. This is so dumb, but it kind of reminds me of, for people who've seen the Final Destination series.
Yes.
Of like, if you were supposed to die in this instance, death was still coming for you, right?
Yeah. I agree. I agree. And it sucks.
Yeah, it sucks, but I do think that's what was always meant to happen.
Yeah, like it's telling us more about the relationship between the gods and the magic and the dragons in this world.
Right. it is an interesting correlation because the dragons always talk about the puny gods and how they don't pay heed to them or they don't mind them or whatever. And it's like, does the dragon's magic have a law of its own, or is it the same law as the gods? And it kind of seems like it's all under the same laws. The dragons just think they might be above it.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree with that.
Oof. Well, later, Violet is throwing daggers in her room, much more relaxed now that no one will be stupid enough to attack her, when there is a knock at her door. One Xaden Ryerson walks in, and we get the sex scene we have all been salivating for. Woo! There's a moment when Violet shoves her clock off her desk, and the clock stops ticking. A perfect metaphor for when they are together, all time seems to stop. Okay, let's talk about this for a second.
It is my favorite sex scene in any romantasy book I have ever read, which is really high praise. That says a lot. Like, it has everything you need. It has furniture destruction. It has like things getting set on fire. It has all these like crazy different positions they move through throughout her room, and it's like the hottest thing in the entire world. And you're just like, whew.
Yeah.
No,
I don't know how it could get spicier.
No, I don't think it can. And this here is why I got sucked into this series. This is what took me to romantasy. Thank you, Alex. I picked the right one.
Thank you, Rebecca Yarros.
Thank you, Rebecca Yarros. But truly, nothing has lived up to this yet.
No. And I will say, and I've read every Rebecca Yarros book she's written, and there's obviously sex scenes in every book she writes because she is a contemporary. Yeah, she's a contemporary romance writer. It's part of the formula. And even in all of her other books, nothing is as good as her Fourth Wing scenes. And maybe it's because in also contemporary romance, obviously as the reader we're getting, a lot of them are more run-of-the-mill scenes. But also in Fourth Wing, it always feels like the sex scenes are also moving along the plot in a very specific way.
Yeah.
True.
And I feel like she does a great job. Even later points down the line in Iron Flame where she'll just say, and we know as the reader, they've been like fooling around or having sex and having those emotional connections without it actually being on the page. And then she does give us very specific sex scenes that are moving along the plot. And it's very important that we actually read what happened during them. And I think that's what makes the scenes she writes so important. And it's what makes her work feel more elevated as opposed to just being like, oh, it's dragon smut. It's not.
Yeah,
it's
totally.
like there's a reason those scenes are in the book.
Absolutely.
You set a very high bar for us, Alex.
Yes, I know. Why, thank you, resident book psycho. But question, during this scene, I can't help but wonder if this is our first foreshadowing of a mate theory. Do we think that Violet and Xaden are mates?
Yeah, so this is something I've thought. Here's the thing is
bringing in the fae aspect.
The mates trope is extremely popular in romantasy. Obviously, it doesn't mean every romantasy book has to have it. These are obviously human beings. They're not fae. But I think very specifically just Xaden and Violet. I don't think it's a thing that's happened in their world before. It reminds me of, spoiler for Harry Potter, I don't know if anyone hasn't read Harry Potter, but it kind of reminds me of that way. It's like they've dove into magic that's completely uncharted territory. Like in Harry Potter, it's like things happened that couldn't be explained because those specific circumstances had never happened before. And it's like magic took a different turn people weren't expecting. I almost feel like it could be that here where it's like, yeah, writers have shared that mate bond before, but have those writers fallen in love the same way that Xaden and Violet have before, even if they've had that bond? And I don't think that they have. Right. And I feel like it could have turned their relationship from a regular relationship into a mate bond like they're dragons in this like weird specific way. And only because of some of the quotes we get. Like in this scene, we get a quote saying, "This kind of desperation isn't natural. It's a wildfire that's likely to burn us both to the ground if we let it." And I think we see it throughout the series. They act foolish in love to an insane degree that you're just like, what is wrong with these two people? It's almost natural the way that they love each other so intensely.
The ferocity of a storm.
Yes, and with him having to physically fly to Montserrat, even when his dragon is like, you're being a fool.
Absolutely.
Like he physically, I think, had to go there. Like the way they talk about how dragons can't be separated. I don't know. It could all just be like Rebecca Yarros wanting to show us how much they love each other, but it also really could, I feel like, could be some mate foreshadowing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think so too. I mean, isn't it true that in Onyx Storm, Taryn just like casually refers to Violet as Xaden's mate as well?
Yes,
so like
he does.
if that's not fact, at least we know Dragon's mate, right? So like there is sort of it could be fact or it could be projection or whatever, but I think it leans more towards that's what they are.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be what saves them in the end. I don't know.
Exactly. Although that makes me nervous for whoever the brother is. I'm like, what? Yeah. The other unfortunate moment of foreshadowing we get multiple times during this chapter is Xaden saying, "You're going to be the death of me, Violet."
No.
I know. Honestly, these lines make me very nervous. The only thing that makes me less nervous is that in interviews, Rebecca Yarros has felt the need to remind readers that she is a romance author. And if we know anything about the romance and romantasy genre, is that we always get our happily ever after. That is the only thing I'm like
fingers crossed
here about.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And I will say, even in her contemporaries, The Last Letter is her saddest book she has ever written. If you want to bawl your eyes out, I highly recommend reading it. And even those characters have their happily ever after, even though an insanely important character does die in that book that you would never expect to die. So I don't think she's above tearing our hearts to shreds while also giving us the happily ever after, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It just may not be in the way we expect, just like in that book where it's like, oh, I thought everyone was going to be happy in the end, but really it's literally just the two big characters are the only ones who are allowed to be happy. Yeah. Okay, I see where we're going with this.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I don't know.
We shall see.
Maybe it's foreshadowing more that Xaden's going to have a rebirth of some kind after becoming a Venin, or maybe it's actually the foreshadowing that because we do know that he does turn Venin, that his soul is going to die and she's going to somehow resurrect it in some way, which I think might actually be the more accurate foreshadowing.
Yeah. Well, so the next morning after the sexy sex scene, Xaden leaves a jar of violets next to her bedside table so she wouldn't wake up alone. And I think the
best
whole
book boyfriend ever
entire fandom is just swooning over this because how could you not? Also, I just picture him out there like picking flowers and I'm like, it's so soft and it's so gentle and it's so at odds of what we know of him as a character. But I digress. It's one of those beautiful show don't tell moments where we see how much he loves her, even though he's pretending to push her away. And don't worry, because our girl will definitely call him out on this later. After all, she is a smart fucking woman. Violet gets snapped out of her Xaden daydreaming, however, with a sharp knock at her door, and it is Professor Carr, and it is time for her to start training her signet. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah. Get the most iconic line of all time from Taryn. Shall I get the Wingleader?
Oh, it's the best line.
Xaden helps by sending her salacious images, and Violet wields her lightning again and again. And her aim is shit. I do love that in this series, it takes a very realistic time frame for Violet to master her power. In so many fantasy series that I hear from Alex, so many FMCs just magically master their magic after like a week of figuring it out. And even now in Onyx Storm, Violet can barely aim. And it shows such a sense of realism, especially when she's thrown into a battle at the end of this book that she really isn't ready for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of hate when it's such a easy trope in romantasy. It's like the FMC is like this kick-ass badass character, but it's like a lot of times it's someone who's never picked up a sword before or a dagger, and then they have like 1 week of training with the MMC, and all of a sudden they can like take down the strongest warrior, and you're just like, okay,
it's like cue the Mulan montage. Let's get down to business.
Oh my god, yes.
Defeat the Hun. Yeah. It's great.
It's just so unrealistic.
Oh my god, I love it. Wow.
Yeah, later that afternoon, though, Xaden comes to help Violet clean up her room, and she desperately wants him to keep opening up to her. And I do think when you reread Fourth Wing, like we are, Rebecca Yarros does a really good job of setting up the expectations of their relationship here. Violet is always asking Xaden questions, trying to get information out of him. And so when she stops doing this in Iron Flame, he probably sees it more as a, oh, maybe she just doesn't have a question for me at first, at least. And I think we all get frustrated.
He is a man after all.
He is a man after all. And
He doesn't know.
I think we all get frustrated later in that book when he's not just sort of answering her unasked questions. But in this book, her asking the questions is really how the relationship is set up. And it doesn't mean that shouldn't change, but the miscommunication trope in Iron Flame is set up so well here. And I think
I agree.
we kind of forget about it unless you come back and do the reread. You're like, oh yeah, she really does just like ask him all the questions all the time.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, my favorite one is, what's
how
your
it is.
favorite food? He's like, chocolate cake. Why?
Stop being weird.
Well, I mean, cut two, but yes.
I know.
Yeah. So I think it's been nice to do this reread and see things like that. I think when you forget reading later on the series.
Mm-hmm.
And while they're cleaning up, they pick up Violet's copy of The Fables of the Baron. And wouldn't you know it, but there's a letter peeking out of its now broken binding from her father. And boy, was he relying on some major luck on her finding this.
Literally.
Every time I read that part, I'm always just like, what if she hadn't dropped the book? Like,
Also,
she's read
like,
that book
how
1,000 times.
tiny
Never
was the
found
paper? Because the way it's described is rolled up so small. And I'm like, how did you
I'm
see
sure
it?
it was so tiny because it can't be big enough that anyone else who drops the book could see it.
Yeah. But he was really relying on some major luck here because we know she's read that book cover to cover probably like a zillion times since he's died. And it's like, she's never found it.
Yeah, somehow he knew that she would find this needle in a haystack, but he also thought that she would end up with Dain.
Yeah. Thanks and all that she found it.
Like, seriously, thanks and all.
Okay.
He very cryptically tells her that one generation can change history and even erase it. Violet says he got very cryptic in the years after Brennan died. Interesting. Yes. We talked a little bit about how maybe Lilith and Archer maybe didn't agree on how to handle the Venom issue last episode. Mm-hmm. But at this comment, I'm wondering if maybe they did initially agree, but after Brennan's death, he decided to start going down this path.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's when he got really cryptic and secret. What do we think about this?
Well, there is a lot of speculation in the fandom about Archer's death. Mm-hmm. And a lot of fans think that he was killed by leadership for digging around in the Venom issue, which definitely would make a lot of sense. And his heart problems could be due to him being slowly poisoned, perhaps. What do we think? Because I do know that he is a pretty masterful poison person. Yeah, expert. Thank you so much. I'm like, poison person. Like,
I would find it hard to believe that out of all the people, he wouldn't know he was being poisoned. I do think that is a little bizarre. I also think his death does feel so sus. But
the heart issues came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Yes, but he really thought Brennan was dead. So it is possible to believe that it did tear him up in this way. And he probably felt guilty for sending his son off to a war, fighting for a cause he no longer really believed in. Mm-hmm. And that guilt was probably eating him up inside.
I was about to say guilt can definitely like shadow, your knowledge or put your intellect or things aside. So you can just like, he's not even thinking. It would be crazy that he was poisoned, and also so correct because he's not thinking about the things that he knows the most. He's just grieving.
Violet describes it as her father dying of heartbreak.
I think it's true. I'm actually on the train I think it was him dying, not even of heartbreak, but of guilt.
Yeah, I think so too. Guilt and shame.
And the reason I don't think it was because he was digging into like the Venom secret is because I think leadership told him about the Venom. Like we know later from Lilith that once you reach a certain rank, you're actually invited into the fold of the lie. And it's not even that high of a rank, to be honest.
No.
So I don't see why leadership would go about poisoning him. Like for what purpose? It doesn't really make any sense to me. Mm-hmm. And I just think that the way he ends up telling Violet had to be secret because he knew leadership wanted to keep everything a secret. So he was like, if I want Violet to know, I have to go about this roundabout pathway of sending her to the Isles and all of these
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do we think there's any possibility that he was aiding Fen?
Ooh, I don't think so. I think Brennan got I do like that, but I think Brennan dying was probably the catalyst for him changing his mind on how him and Lilith were handling the Venom situation.
Yeah. That
Mm.
makes sense to me too.
And I think before that, he probably agreed with Lilith that we must protect our children at all costs and all these things. And then after Brennan died for that lie, he probably felt so much guilt over it. He probably was like, this is not the way. Like, my child died protecting the secret, not even with the Venom war.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we sent him to die.
Yeah, we should be
exactly.
fighting the real enemy. And I'm going to make sure Violet has the information that she needs.
Yeah.
So she can fight the real enemy. Because if we're going to give up our lives, it better be for freaking something worth it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Archer.
I know.
So this is also the time where Xaden very cryptically asks Violet, what do you think he was trying to tell you? And oh, Xaden, my boy, this was your opportunity to tell her.
Come on.
Here was the proof that her father wanted her to know, and it would have been a very easy segue for her to be convinced of the truth. So
Mhm.
why didn't he?
Fucking Dain Atos.
Honestly, yeah, that's true.
It's
because
true.
she can't shield.
Yep.
So yeah, see, this is why Dain is just consistently the narrative cock block.
He is. He is.
Every problem they have in their relationship is Dane's fault.
It is Dane's fault.
Oh my God. But so anyway, he skates right by this moment and brings up, quote, more important things or more important ways to spend their night. But Violet shuts him down quickly when she realizes that she is falling for him very quickly. And he's kind of acting like he won't catch her. He says, I have absolutely no intention of falling for you. But at this point, we already know that he has. So she says he enunciates every word slowly, so she gets the point. But I think it was more of him kind of struggling to get the words out to say it to her because it's going so against what he actually feels.
Yeah, I also think there's a partial truth here. Like, he had no intention of falling for her.
Fair.
True.
This is like, I'm telling you the truth-ish, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I
have never lied to you, Violet.
I have never lied to you, Violet, right? So, like, he didn't say, I don't love you, or that I am not falling in love with you. He says, I have no intention of falling in love with you.
Oh, you're
that's
so
so
right.
fair.
You're
Yeah.
so right.
You nailed it, Ashley.
But
you
also,
nailed
like,
it.
yeah, I mean, but he's a man and he could have said it a different way, but whatever.
Yep. And because
Dumb.
he's a man and he was being stupid, Violet throws him out of her room and says, good night.
Yeah, exactly.
Good for her.
Say what you mean. Okay.
Say it with your chest.
A month later, we get one of the most hilarious scenes. They're eating lunch and mind speaking to each other, and Violet has had it. She gives a very detailed description in his mind of going down on him in the middle of the cafeteria, and he practically chokes on his food.
I love this scene so much. I crack up hysterically every time I read it.
This would be a good POV from him.
Yes.
Oh, it would.
Rebecca Yarros may claim that she is not a good comedy writer, but honestly, she writes comedy gold.
I know. She has said in interviews that she is would be a terrible rom-com writer. And I'm like, I don't know about that, ma'am.
I feel like she's saying that because when what we just talked about, if she's like, I can't intentionally write comedy. Maybe that's
True.
different. If she sits down and she's like, I want to write a rom-com, she'd be like, where the fuck do I start? But if she's just writing how she writes, the byproduct is a great rom-com.
Or maybe she mostly means that she can't help herself from killing people off, and you can't do that in a rom-com.
Well, that's fair.
It's too sweet.
That's
too
fair.
sweet of a genre.
Yeah.
They head into battle brief, and as we know by this point, Xaden is purposefully trying not to read her intentions. But as he walks into the room, Violet feels a prickle along her scalp. Xaden seems to have broken his own rule here. Why? Reunification Day?
I feel like that might be the reason he's having a really shit day. It's the day his dad died.
Was murdered.
Yes, was murdered. And he's just like, I need to know what she's thinking. Because after he stops reading her attentions, we definitely see in the book, he asks her more and more, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? Tell me. Because like he's not doing it. And I think he probably just caved in this moment of like, I just have to have a little Violet right now.
Yeah, okay. And almost immediately, Violet mind shouts at him to go fuck her somewhere to take her mind off this horrible day, which leads to her also interrogating him about if he has feelings for Imogen. Okay, I get it. Insecurities come out, but let's talk about it.
Yeah, I will say Violet, I love her, but her insecurity throughout the whole series, not even just this book, drives me absolutely insane.
Dude, in Iron Flame, I get so fed up. I can already tell you that is my thorn through Iron Flame. I'm like, girl.
Oh, for sure.
Stop.
Sometimes it just doesn't even make sense. You're like, wait, aren't you supposed to be this brilliant fucking woman? Put 2 and 2 together. He clearly doesn't have a thing for Imogen. And like, I know when it comes to the matters of the heart, we all second guess ourselves and things like that. But there's just moments where I'm just like, Violet, I can't with you. And I'm on Xaden's side, which is insane. But like,
oh my
girl.
goodness. Yeah.
It just makes me think that Halden really messed with her mind.
Oh, touche. Yeah.
Because, I mean, for one, we know he's an asshole.
Yeah.
Very true. And we'll discuss that probably at length when we get to Onyx Storm.
Yep.
Yeah. And the reunification party has arrived. Liam, the ever loyal Shadow, joins her at the party, even though no other marked one is there.
He's the sweetest boy.
He really is just the fucking best.
He's just the best.
The best. But he does almost spill the beans here that he knows Brennan. In fact, he basically does spill it, but is saved because the king comes and distracts Violet, and she never thinks about it again. He literally probably was like, fuck.
Yep.
And there is one tiny baby almost plot hole here, and it's that Halden should be at this party. He and his twin brother are the exact same age as Xaden, we know, because Xaden is the one who killed his twin brother during threshing. And obviously, if his father were here for this party, Halden would be here because he's in the quadrant right now. We know he was a infantry cadet. So if he was there, he definitely would be annoying the shit out of Violet. From his character we see in Onyx Storm, he definitely has this like vendetta to like get her back and all these things, and immediately wants to like drive her crazy. So we're just going to pretend that Violet didn't see him and chalk it all up to probably Rebecca Yarros hadn't made those decisions yet at this point. Or didn't want us to take us out of the story, because that would be such a weird thing to introduce us to at this point in Xaden and Violet's love story.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it's just one of those things to where it exists in the future. Just don't look backwards on it. Like,
yeah. Because I think, like, I just imagine, like, if Halden was in this scene, it would be so weird to be taken out of what's happening with Xaden and Violet and them figuring things out to be like, oh, yeah, also Violet's random ex, Halden.
It'd be such a strange insert.
Such a strange insert. So it's just one of those things that like fans I know have pointed out, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a plot hole. But you know what? Don't really care.
It's not that big of one. It doesn't endanger the story in any way.
No. And this is the moment when Dain helps her escape the party that he steals the memory of Xaden telling her about Avbean, which War Games ends up being that night.
Yep.
Colonel Atos works
Daddy
pretty
Atos
damn
is there.
fast. Yeah, I'd say he's working pretty damn fast to set all of that up in the next like 5 hours, which makes me believe he might have always been planning something like this to quote unquote give Xaden his due or whatever.
Yeah.
even if maybe if it wasn't this severe. I feel like Dane's memory and telling his dad probably just confirmed Daddy Atos's suspicions.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was always planning on doing this.
No, I agree with you because there's a line where Lilith is questioning him and he's like, it was only for 5 days. And she's like, this is a stronghold. Like, what are you doing?
Are you like an idiot?
And so that makes me think that it was already cleared out by this day.
Yeah, no, I think so. And I think later on in book 4, maybe, I think Dain and Xaden and Violet, everyone finding out that that was always going to happen at Reston and Athbean is going to help not only clear some of Dane's conscience, but clear some of the hate Violet and Sloane feel towards Dain. Because I think we all know where Sloane and Dain are heading. And how are you ever going to forgive the guy you think is responsible for getting your brother killed by finding out it wasn't really him all along?
Yeah, true. There is a savior arc for Dain, as we know.
Yes, I love that he's having a redemption arc. It's going great.
Violet goes to find Xaden on the parapet now. Woo! He is brooding in all of his glory. Rightfully so, I would like to say. And she admits to herself that she is in love with him. And he claims yet again that she is going to be the death of him.
Stop saying that.
I know. No more.
Just stop it.
He finally gives in to their relationship and they are officially together.
For a whole 5 minutes.
Oh my God.
I mean, the symbolism of meeting on the parapet and joining together as one on the parapet is so poetic. And like the best girlfriend ever. And sadly, seemingly the only person who has ever done this for him. She takes care of him.
It's so sad. And
I
sweet.
know.
It's so
Reading
sweet.
this, I feel like I like read it slower because it's so gentle and sweet. And she's like, no, you need someone soft right now. And she's
so
like, I'm going to do
beautiful.
that.
And no one ever takes care of him. And it's just like,
Ugh. My heart.
I know.
So she takes him back to his room. And not only is she willing to take care of him emotionally, but also physically. Wink, wink, wink. And we get another super fucking hot sex scene. Thank you again, Becky Yaros. Maybe another mate for Shadow, perhaps. They just can't seem to stop it tonight. But alas, it is interrupted by one Garrick Tavis. And I think we all feel bad for him for having to do this. But also, you know, he's outside the door, smug as fuck. And he knew that Xaden was going to cave to Violet all along.
Yes. I love that he's like, I know Soren Gale's in there. You might as well bring her.
I love Garrick so much.
Yep.
I need more Garrick. I can't say it enough. I need more Garrick.
Amen, amen, amen. And while they think the wards are actually falling, it's really just fucking war games. Xaden immediately assigns Violet to his squad, and Dain Payne is not having it. He does make some fair points that taking Violet outside the wards as a first year is probably not the best judgment, but Sigale and Xaden, let's be honest, cannot stand to be away from Violet and Taryn for 5 days. This is the moment Dain realizes that they are actually together, and awkward. Later on in the series, it does seem that Dain did not know about his father's plan here, even though he says he will miss Violet. Do we think that's true?
I do. I think
I
it's
do
true.
too. I think it's true also.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think Dain is a good person who did a bad thing, and that happens in life. You know, I don't think he was ever supposed to be the villain of this story.
Yeah.
And when he and Violet get to finally kind of talk about it, he does have a very sound reason as to why he said something. And he was like, no, I wasn't sending you to your death. I just knew that we were never going to be together. And it's like, oh.
Yeah. And like, he has really good reasons of why he even told his father. He's like, I thought you got sucked into something you weren't understanding because I knew all these things about how Xaden couldn't possibly forgive your mother. Why would he want to be with you? And he also knew that Bodhi, as a second year, wasn't allowed to be flying off to Adbean.
Yeah.
So it seemed sus as shit. And he thought he was protecting his kingdom and her. And like, I get it, even though you maybe should have talked to your best friend about it first.
Yep.
Before running off to daddy.
Yeah, and then he puts it on her saying, you should have talked to me. And it's like, you could
Dragons
have
and
also.
daddy issues.
It's two-way street here, bro. Like,
Also, whenever I try and talk to you, you basically tell me I'm wrong. So why would I even bother?
Yeah.
dragons and daddy issues.
Dragons and daddy issues.
And we're back to it.
And we never left.
Yes.
Yeah. Crazy.
And then at the beginning of this next chapter, we get an excerpt from Navarre, an unedited history by Colonel Lewis Markham. Oh, Rebecca Yarros coming in with her wit here again, and we didn't even realize it.
Yep,
I love her witty little epigraph nods. Like this one and the one about Panchik are so good.
Absolutely.
It says that the first known griffin attack was in 1 AU. 1 year after unification. They talk a lot about how the Venin were defeated the first time in this book and the series. Considering this first attack was 1 year after the Great War ended, do we really think the Venin were ever defeated?
Nope.
No, I've never thought that.
Destabilized, perhaps.
Perhaps.
I don't think they were ever defeated the first time.
No,
And then
I don't think so either.
even in Onyx Storm, when she's asking the Irids about it, they're like, what are you talking about? I can't tell you how to defeat them because we never did, essentially, is what they say.
Yeah.
And this is proof right here in Fourth Wing. And also it comes up later that in Violet's mind, she's thinking about their history, that really the war with Poromil started 400 years ago. So that means for 200 years, Griffins were attacking without them being at an all-out war. But that shows too how slow the Venin have been recovering too. Just really interesting. And I wonder why it's been so slow.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if the two main sages are the only ones that survived.
Or maybe just the one main sage.
Yeah, either
Fair.
way.
Or one general. We're not totally clear on how their hierarchy works, is if a general is a sage or if a general is above a sage. And
Unclear on
it's a little confusing.
Military strategy for the Venin.
Yeah, which is on purpose, you know.
Yeah.
They're literally writing books about it in Onyx Storm. But yeah, everyone keep their eyes and ears peeled, I guess, in book 4.
Yep.
They fly on to Adbean and stop to take a nice break at a lake before reaching the outpost. And immediately, Xaden has gone from pretending I have zero feelings for Violet to major PDA, and I don't care who knows how much I'm whipped by this woman. The 180 here is quite something.
Yeah.
It's kind of hilarious. And while they're busy making out while on mission, can we really blame Basgaiath here for discouraging this type of relationship? I don't think so.
He's like, none of them are going to say anything. And she was like, yeah, but also like, really?
Like, let's be professional, but also like, I don't want to be professional because you're hot. Okay.
Yep.
They're interrupted by some really unwelcome guests.
Enter the Flyers. This is when Violet's world completely comes crashing down. First, she immediately snaps to Xaden betraying Navarre. Then she realizes her entire squad is now comprised of marked ones, which, side note, how did Xaden think that he was really going to get away with an all marked ones squad for war games?
100%. This feels like a plot hole to me. I know it's not a plot hole, but she clearly did it on purpose. But I'm just like, how was he, even if war games went fine,
Yeah.
how is he getting away with this?
Yep. So then they jump into a conversation with everyone, and they're all talking about Venin as if they are very well aware of them and it's common knowledge, and Violet's freaking out. So then Xaden slowly starts to explain the situation while Violet is completely spiraling. But as her father says, the truth rarely needs effort. And there is one part of the scene that has always kind of bothered me where Violet says, but you told me there was no chance we could be fighting something like this. And Xaden replies, no, I told you. I would hope that if this threat was out there, our leadership would tell us. This is not in the scene where they're discussing Venin.
Huh?
Yeah, like the scene we literally just talked about earlier where he could have told her that Venin exists when she finds the note from her father. They don't say any of that.
Nope.
When did they have this conversation?
Going back to Ashley's thing, he never lied to her. He would hope that leadership would tell them about it.
Yeah, I would hope.
But I feel like this is maybe an editing error. Maybe this was in their conversation and it got edited out, but then this part didn't get edited out.
But I mean, do you think that this was a conversation that they had that was just not in our text?
But it
You know
just
what I mean?
feels weird to
It does feel a
reference
little weird.
it.
It
Yeah, it
feels-
feels weird to reference it when we didn't hear it the first time.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
It
Maybe
feels like
it's
an
an
editing
editing
error. I
error.
think it's an editing error.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Violet immediately starts retracting her love for Xaden, saying everything she felt was based on secrets and lies. And
How
let's
dare.
pause for a moment and back up. Yes, he lied about a huge secret that the entire kingdom lies to her about, by the way. But how
That you
does
cannot
make...
shield from.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
how does that make everything else he's done null and void? Okay.
I agree. This is
She's
like
emotional.
when Violet annoys me. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's emotional here. And yes, him not telling her is a betrayal, a lie of omission. She's highly triggered. But every moment they have had, every moment he's protected her and pushed her to be better, doesn't all of a sudden just not exist.
Right. Like it doesn't become null.
I love it. But I mean, think about it. It's grief and shame. It's trauma. Everybody needs therapy.
Everyone does need therapy.
Everybody needs
but
therapy.
it's just wild to me that she holds on to this anger for so long and it's like, just because you didn't tell me this one thing, everything between us is a lie. I don't get that
No.
reasoning totally.
There's nuance here. Both things can exist.
Yep.
Yeah, like doesn't mean everything between you has been a lie. Like Jesus Christ, calm
Yeah.
down.
Yeah, relax.
Dramatic. Much.
Dramatic much.
Yes.
Exactly.
These feelings are very new for him. He doesn't know how to manage them. These feelings are new for her. She doesn't know how to manage them. Everybody's deflecting, projecting, mirroring, all the things. Everybody relax.
I think the issue I have with it's not necessarily right in this moment. Obviously, anyone in this moment would be severely upset. I think it's later, once she's processed it, that she acts the same way about it.
Exactly.
That upsets me. I don't understand why you think he's a different person now because he didn't tell you a secret that honestly wasn't really his to share.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. This is like an impulsive thing for her. Obviously, with maturity comes hopefully less impulsive behaviors. It just feels like you're right. The thing that's the most bothersome is that she continues even after post-processing to hold this anger.
Yeah, she holds on to this way too long.
Way too long.
Yeah. And then she almost doesn't ever hold her anger against Taryn or Andarna for doing the exact same thing. So this is the thing, right? Her love for her dragons is just as intense as her love for Xaden. Why is it so much easier for her to forgive them instantly than him? I sort of am like, my animals can do no wrong. If they were to lie to me, I'd be like, it's okay, I understand. But if the person that I really wanted to never lie to me lied to me, it hurts more. Or some unhealed bullshit, you know?
Unhealed
Yeah.
bullshit.
I don't know. It is like just such a weird thing that she literally almost like doesn't stay mad at Taryn and Adarna at all.
Yeah.
And then stays mad at Xaden for like an entire another book.
Yeah, exactly.
Literally.
Exactly.
It's kind of nuts.
Yeah. But not everyone is held to the same standard, I suppose.
I guess not. But they make it to Adbean, and it's a very creepy, empty outpost. They receive their missive for war games. It is to survive if they can. Xaden immediately deduces that Dain must have taken Violet's memory of Xaden telling her about his trips to Athbean. And I think this is another thing that bothers me about Violet's unforgiving anger is that the reason Xaden felt so hesitant to confide the venom secret in her is because Dain could steal her memory and probably had, also side note, did Xaden know he's been secretly stealing her memories because he can read intentions? I think he might, which would double down on his reasoning of why he would not tell her the venom secret.
Correct.
Because of Dain.
Correct.
And then the reason that they all almost die is for the literal reason he did not confide in her. Like, he was literally proven right immediately. Immediately, right in this moment. It's like 3 pages later.
Oh my gosh.
That like, I didn't
Here
tell
is
you
the proof.
because of Dain. And then literally not even 3 pages, like a page later, it's like, oh, Dain stole your memory. This is literally the reason I didn't tell you, and we're all about to die. And she's still mad at him. I can't. I'm so mad. I can't. Their mission is to either abandon Resson to the Venom or to leave and make it to the real location of War Games, which also, let's just discuss the fact that Dain's dad is clearly the person who lured the Venom to Resson.
100%.
And I'm sorry, but if Violet is this most brilliant fucking woman, how has she not put those things together in the books yet?
Well,
rose-colored glasses?
Yeah, another reason why she has to go to therapy.
Dragons and daddy issues.
Dragons and daddy issues. Yeah.
Like, it's kind of weird to me that in the books, they're still kind of figuring out, ooh, what's this lore? And, oh, these boxes, how are the linen brewed? And it's like, as a reader, it just feels so obvious. It's like, Colonel Atos sent you there to die, knowing the Venom would be there. Obviously, he's the one who lured them there.
But rose-colored glasses, that's her childhood best friend. That's her childhood protector, the one who was never supposed to do this or hurt her or, you know.
But then he starts sending assassins after her in the next book. I don't think she's, like, holding him to that high of a standard.
No,
and she still doesn't think about it.
Yeah, but also mental and emotional stuff is completely different. You can intellectually know that something is wrong or bad and still be like, no, it must not be him.
It just sucks that Xaden is shouldering so much of her rage when it should definitely be allocated in other spaces.
Oh, for sure.
Of course. But I feel like that he knows how to do that because that's what he's done his entire life.
He's so used to it, which is so sad.
So sad.
He needs some healing too.
Maybe the reason they don't think about Daddy Atos being the Venom lurer in this situation is maybe they assume because he's in leadership and leadership wants to keep the Venom a secret, why would he be the one to lure the Venom there?
Yeah.
But just because he's in leadership trying to keep the Venom secret doesn't mean he's not also using the Venom to his advantage.
Yeah.
He knows all about them and he's probably like, I want to stay in power over here, so I'm going to use my enemy to get rid of my other enemy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And because they are all writers and not cowards, they, of course, decide to fly into battle. Bodhi says he wouldn't mind seeing his mother again if they die. So sad. And this brings us to theories about Bodhi's parentage because Bodhi's father is never mentioned. It is mentioned that his mother is Fen Ryerson's sister. So we know that they are cousins. Yep. So these are the two biggest theories in this crack. So firstly, he and Xaden look so much alike because Fen and his sister are twins. She also has an arranged marriage like Fen, which is why his father is never mentioned. And the second one being he and Xaden look so much alike because Bodhi is secretly Fen's love child.
Oh God.
I know. He, in this theory, had another baby while married to Talia, which would have violated their marriage contract. Therefore, his sister took responsibility for that child under her name. What do we think?
Oh, they're both so good. They both feel so plausible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't know. Maybe Fen and his sister are twins. Maybe that's why they look so much alike. Maybe all the brother foreshadowing really is just to show how close Xaden and Bodhi are. It has nothing to do with them like literally being brothers. Yeah. Or maybe it literally is that they are brothers and he is secretly Fen's love child. But then also we know Bodhi has a different last name, Bodhi Duran. So that means his sister took whatever husband's last name. And I feel like if it was a love child, maybe, and she was happily married, I don't know, like wouldn't we hear about his dad then if she was happily married?
Yeah.
Maybe he died young.
Oh, maybe.
And
or maybe
the Ryersons took in his sister.
Well, I think both are so plausible, to be honest. And I feel good about both of them. I can't wait to find out. And also, knowing
it's
Rebecca
a good
Yarros,
no.
it's probably a third option that we don't understand or
that we haven't even thought about.
No, we have something so not far on our bingo card that Rebecca Yarros is just going to be like, here you go.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. We should start making a bingo card for the next book.
Ooh, yes.
That would actually
so
literally
fun.
be fun.
That would be really fun.
I love it.
So now in this point, we need to ask, why is Bodhi's parentage important? And it's mostly because he is the heir of Terrandor after Xaden. And now in Onyx Storm, we know he could be the heir, or Violet could be.
Mhm.
So let's stay tuned for when we get our Onyx Storm coverage going. For more
Yep.
on
Yes, I
that.
can't wait to talk about that. But yes,
Very
Bodhi's parentage
exciting.
is very important. So as we're reading Iron Flame, we should definitely look out for any notes about it.
Absolutely. Well, the battle begins, and these guys truly know almost nothing about their enemy other than fire cannot kill them. They must be killed with the alloy hilted daggers. They don't understand how channeling even really works, and sadly, they almost immediately lose Soleil and Fuel to a venom sucking the life force out of them. The battle is complete chaos, so much so that Violet notes she sees Liam wielding ice and does not even seem to process that he should not be able to do that. So much thought that this could be an editing error since Violet never thinks about it again. We now know from confirmation in Onyx Storm that Liam did have 2 signets and that a lot of the marked ones also have 2 abilities. Why do we think Liam shared his Farsight ability over his ice wielding?
I think about this every time I read Fourth Wing because if you're in a battle, wouldn't it it would feel so hard to me not to use my ice wielding. If he was actually fighting in a Navarian battle against flyers, what is Farsight gonna do when you're on top of your dragon? Like that feels like to me the better one to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, he did use the Farsight in this battle too.
He does,
Yeah.
but it feels just way easier to hide a second Farsight ability than ice wielding.
Yeah, I just feel like since he's such an emotional caretaker, he's deeply protective of Violet, of Xaden, of the rebellion, of it all. I think he chose Farsight because it helped him protect others. Like seeing danger before it strikes is more guardian than warrior, and it kind of aligned with his role as Violet's protector and Xaden's ally to do that. And also, there's such a power suppression that exists in the marked ones, right? And I feel like revealing an abnormal ability like that could have made him a target in some other
Right, like
way.
hiding the bigger ability because it's a bigger currency, essentially.
It's bigger currency and it's the more dangerous in battle one. It also contrasts his abilities to Dain's in a way.
Yeah, but that's not all Liam does. He saves Violet by slamming into a wyvern attacking her and Taryn, and he says it's his turn to save her life after she saved him during war games. I know, everyone gear up. Unfortunately, as we all know, this action will end Day's life, causing Liam to also die at the loss of magic and connection to his dragon. I know. Like we discussed earlier in this book, the magic sounds as if it almost changes their DNA. They can't survive without the lifeline to their dragon anymore. Something that does piss me off a little bit with Violet is that Liam begs Violet to forgive Xaden on his deathbed.
Fuck off.
Exactly. Fuck off.
She still doesn't.
And she still doesn't. And in this moment, Violet doesn't just lose a best friend, but Xaden loses his brother. And I don't think we think about that enough. Because we're in Violet's POV, we think mostly about how sad she is about losing Liam. But when you think about it from Xaden's POV, he says that Bodhi and Liam are his brothers. And this is like losing Brennan to her. Ugh, so sad.
I do also think she gets a bit wrapped up in her own grief to even think about how deeply he's grieving.
Right.
Therapy.
And with some of his last breaths, we get the most heart-wrenching line I think Rebecca Yarros has ever written and that we have ever read in any book ever. It's been my honor.
Goodbye.
I know. And we're done.
End of episode.
And we're done. Deep breath, and then we'll continue.
I mean, yeah, there's not much to say about it except for we just are devastated.
Yeah.
We get a very important epigraph at the beginning of chapter 37 where it says, quote, "It was my third brother who commanded the sky to surrender its greatest power, who finally vanquished his jealous sibling at the great and terrible price. This epigraph tells us that one of the brothers of the original fable was a lightning wielder. And it also suggests that the lightning wielding is probably the only signet that can kill a venom, which is what happens in this chapter. What do we think the great and terrible price was?
It's a very interesting question. I mean, killing a sibling has to be one of the hardest things you could do. I feel like it's an emotional price.
Yeah.
That she's referring to. I don't think it's an actual magical price in any way.
The cost of it all. Yeah.
I think some fans do think that there could be like a magical cost or something like that, but I think it's emotional. I think that has to be literally one of the hardest things you could do, even if your sibling did turn evil.
Yeah.
I agree. We also learn that killing a venom kills all the wyvern that it has created. Heavy emphasis on the created. And that the venom have teachers just like at Basgiath, and they're called sages. It's interesting that they are shocked that the venom seem to have a hierarchy and seem to have their own society. Do we think that they just kind of perceived the venom as being almost like mindless, power hungry zombies just kind of existing in a space?
It seems like it. I never thought that, but it definitely seems they did, because they're always surprised at everything they learn about the venom and how they're forming as a society. Like even when they're taking over cities in the next book, and it's like, oh, the venom have a plan? It's like, they still have brains. Like, I don't understand.
Can't think on their own? like what?
It's kind of weird.
They do seem very shocked at the fact that they seem to have like a military strategy over what cities they're taking, who they're going to attack next, and also the why they're attacking. And it almost seems like they just kind of think that the venom are only interested in feeding, but clearly they have way more plans aside from just the necessity of feeding.
But maybe it's also a little bit of, like we talked about earlier in this episode, of it took the venom so long to come back. Like we said, it took them 200 years for there to be enough venom attacks for poor Mel to openly war with Navarre. So maybe because it took them so long, they kind of always underestimated their enemy here a bit.
Long enough to forget how strong they are?
Exactly. And I wonder if we're going to learn later on in the series why it took the venom so long to recoup what they lost from the Great War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we will. Violet is attacked by a venom on Tarn's back and stabbed with a poisonous dagger. Xaden evens the playing field for her by sending shadows to blind the venom, and Violet kills the venom. Then they form the plan, since everyone, including Violet, is about to die, to attack the strongest venom with her lightning in hopes it kills most of the wyvern attacking them. Violet is at a point of burnout, and Tarn tells Violet, I will not watch another rider die because they do not know their own limitations. And Violet says she is not Naolan. Do we think this is proof that Naolan is actually dead? A lot of the fandom thinks he is a venom.
It kind of is and kind of isn't to me.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't specifically say he saw Naolan die. It's just implied.
Yeah.
So, like, he could, I guess, be talking about any rider. I'm actually not in the camp. I don't think Naolan's a venom. I think he really did die.
I think so, too.
Yeah, I'm not.
I've
one
like
of those
waffled
people.
on this fence for a really long time. Right now, in my current second read through the 3 books, I'm on the side of, I don't think he is a venom.
Yeah.
My reasons are, one, I think if he was at a venom battle by now, someone would have recognized him. I mean, duh. 2, I think what we know about dragon bonds so far, I don't think Tarn could have bonded Violet if he was still bonded to Naolan.
Yeah, because he would still be bonded.
Yeah, as far as we know, like, Sigale is still bonded to Xaden when he's a venom. That bond didn't break just because he's a venom.
Yeah.
So
she's pissed.
Yeah, and as far as we know, only Irids can break those bonds.
Yeah.
So I just don't see him being alive in a venom and Tarn. I don't see their connection breaking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It just doesn't really make sense to me. Those are my main 2 reasons. And also this line here, it does feel like to me Tarn is absolutely talking about Naolan.
Yeah, I think so.
And this says to me, he says he watched him die. Like, I will not watch another rider die.
And also Brennan says the same thing.
Yes, Brennan says, I really think it's part of Brennan and Naolin's love story, all of that we're going to find out about it later on, of how Naolin died to save Brennan. I think that is true, just not in the way that we think. I think there was some other powers at play with runes and other things. Like, a lot of people think he's like the general of the Venom. He's not old enough to be the general of the Venom. I'm not on that camp.
Yeah.
So Andarna stops time so Violet can scorch the Venom, but Violet is spent. Xaden kills the other Venom, and seeing as they are all finally safe, Violet collapses off of Tarn. Andarna stops time again and is the one to actually catch Violet before she can hit the ground. I think this is actually the moment when Andarna's wing gets damaged. She cannot bear a rider, and this action feels more damaging than even using too much of her gift and going into the rapid growth, like what they talk about in the next book. They always kind of blame her wing damage on the accelerated growth of using her power too much, but I actually think it's from her catching Violet in this moment. And it's something I always forget about it because they don't really talk about it in the next in the other two books. But this has to have severely hurt her wing. She's a tiny baby.
Yeah, and they say very much so. She will never bear a rider.
Yeah. Violet then also realizes that the poison is not just killing her, but has paralyzed her magically. Do we think this poison is the inspiration for the signet blocking serum in Iron Flame? And do we think it's because whoever makes the signet blocking serum also is in league with the Venom, or did they steal the poison and study it?
I mean, here's the thing. So Atos is definitely in leagues with the Venom.
I think
in
Varish
some
is
capacity.
definitely also.
Varish definitely is. And he and Daddy Atos have like a
BFF.
whole like bonding BFF situation going on. So yeah, absolutely. It does seem like they're kind of trying to take whatever that is and use it on the writers for sure.
I think it's them stealing the poison or like from a battle and studying it and creating their own version. Even though Varish and Atos seem to be in league with the Venom, I think it's more in the Panchek way where they're not actually Venom. They're just like in cahoots with them. Does that make sense?
No, I agree.
Like,
yeah, 100%.
Like I don't think everyone evil in Navarre is automatically Venom.
Agreed.
I think there are different ways you can be evil.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
So
Varish is definitely evil.
Yeah. I think a lot of the fandom, we seem to equate evil character must be Venom.
Right.
But I don't think that's true. I don't think Melgren is Venom either. I think there are people who are still in Navarre who are shitty, who are not Venom. Yeah.
Yeah, completely agree. I do think there is merit to them realizing what those daggers had on them and then being like, ooh, what is this? Let's study it. Let's figure it out. So of course, Xaden has to save her. And the nearest mender is not at Basgiath like Violet thinks. Even though the marked ones question his sanity, Xaden flies Violet to Erasia.
Which I like to say, I get their questioning of why he wants to do this, but A, she's the love of his life and is going to die. Are you really going to let her die? And B, the mender you're taking her to is her brother. Like, do you really think she's going to betray her own brother?
No.
If anything, it doubles her down on the alliance.
Yeah, but it is like big time secret reveal.
I mean, I think at this point, Xaden is like, fuck it, she already knows enough. Like, she knows enough to get us all murdered. So.
But do you think maybe it has something to do with the fact that they still don't believe that Dain won't read her mind?
I mean, it is. They say later that, like, we need to teach her how to shield. But I also wonder if it's that not all the marked ones trust her, even though they trust him.
Yeah.
Even in Iron Flame, he's like, remember, now that I'm not there, there are still marked ones who want to kill you for your mother and what she did. And she's like, oh, I thought we left that. And he's like, no, we never left that.
Why would you leave that? Right.
I do kind of feel like Xaden takes this as an opportunity in his own way to be like, well, this is one less thing I'll have to keep from her.
Oh, for sure.
Getting to show her Brennan.
It has to be relieving.
Truly.
Yeah, that is a weight lifted. My goodness.
So Violet is mended, and we get the first POV from Xaden because Violet is unconscious. I love this one so much. We only get other POVs when Violet is unconscious or not there, other than bonus POVs. And I know we kind of talked about that earlier. So does that mean that Violet is the author? Do we think?
it definitely just confirms to me every time we get one of these different POVs, even in Onyx Storm, when we get Ree and Imogen, it's because Violet is not there. And to me, it shows us she is the author of this book. In moments when she's not there, she's asked a friend or someone else to fill in the gap. Because to me, if Jasenia really was the one writing this book, like some fans fear, Jasenia would be asking lots of people their POVs.
Yeah, that's fair.
It wouldn't just be when Violet's unconscious. So, yeah.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we find out immediately that Sigale was bonded to Xaden's grandfather, who never made it out of the quadrant. And as we know, they say later on in Iron Flame, if you bond within the same familial line, you have a tendency to go mad. So do we think that Xaden's gonna go mad?
No, he would have gone mad already.
I think he's already mad.
He's
honestly-
already done it.
I actually think that might be bullshit.
Yeah.
I think that's
so?
something
Like maybe
Navarre,
it's a dragon lie.
No, I think it's something Navarre and Coda and that side of the dragons has made up to like even the playing field so that no writers are more powerful than other writers, because all of the marked ones have these second signets for the most part, or have bonded a dragon in the familiar line to try and get the second signets, and none of them went mad. None. I think it's all bullshit.
I call bullshit.
I call
like that.
bullshit.
I mean,
Okay.
maybe it's because Navarre didn't want anybody to think that they were guaranteed a dragon, because it was like, oh, that's my uncle's dragon or something. I mean, I think uncle
think
is
it's
still
all about
technically
power.
fine, but
Yeah, I think it's power and
I think it's
control.
all about power and control, just like everything
Yeah.
in Navarre is.
And everything in life.
Fair. But also, can we talk
Here,
about like
currently, in
so
reality.
if Xaden's grandfather died in the quadrant, how does he exist? Can we talk about this for a second? There are so many theories, and I've read a lot of them, and they make my head spin in the way people have tried to connect and done weird things to make it make sense. I think the most simple one is that he got someone pregnant before going into the quadrant, or got
Very
someone
young.
pregnant while he was in the
Yeah.
quadrant while he was unmarried.
Yeah.
That is the thing that makes the most sense. Or the other thing that makes sense to me is that he was not the Ryerson.
oh,
Because we know in this world, females can hold power and titles.
That makes
Yeah.
sense to me, not the grandfather.
Yeah, so maybe the grandmother was the Ryerson, so he did get her pregnant while they were in the quadrant or something.
Uh-huh.
But the weird part is you're not supposed to be married until you graduate from the Writer's Quadrant.
yeah.
So I don't really understand how Fen would be a legitimate child then. It's
Yeah.
all very confusing, basically.
Yeah,
And I
but
really hope it gets
Yeah.
cleared up. I really hope it
Yeah.
gets cleared up.
No, I mean, it
Oh my
feels
God, or
like-
maybe he did make it out of the quadrant and it's a lie.
And it's all a lie. Or, well, no, because Sigale, like, is the one who told Xaden he didn't make out of the quadrant. So, like, I feel like that's not a lie. Or maybe this just feeds all into our Bodhi parentageness, and Bodhi's the true heir of Tyrandor, and Fen is, like, the secret love triangle or whatever love
Oh
child
my
line.
goodness.
I
Who
don't
could
know.
know? Who could know?
I literally could not even explain some of the theories that I read because they were so head spinning of like, well, if this person married this person and this pair, and I was just like, oh my God,
We need a
how are
family
people
tree.
even
No.
figuring out this hierarchy? It literally made my brain hurt. I can't even repeat what I'm reading or explain it back. So if anyone out there is listening, interested into deep diving this, highly recommend just typing that in on Reddit and making your head spin.
Yeah.
Wild.
It's wild.
All right. Well, Violet wakes up and it takes her a minute, but all her memories start coming back. She realizes they are in a city that shouldn't exist, and Xaden is just so thankful she's alive, he does not care that she is still so furious with him. Xaden says they put Liam to rest, but could not bear to burn his figurines. Could these figurines and eventually letters be the reason that Liam is able to be called by Malek to Violet's cell in Iron Flame?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think the whole burning of the belongings thing is a Navarre political bullshit.
I agree.
I call bullshit on it. And
Yeah.
I think when people have attachments left on the earthly plane or whatever, they can be called back, like what Malik does for Violet and Iron Flame. And
Showing
I
her
think
a kindness.
I think the only reason Liam is able to be pulled back in that way is because his figurines are burned. And I'm wondering if Malik is also like secretly like, why do people keep burning all their shit? I'd love to be able to like help people with their grief by sending them their loved ones in time of need. I'm not this evil god.
Right. Exactly. But if that was the case, then Navarre wouldn't be able to control the way they do.
Right?
I would also like to note that Xaden says he actually never left Violet's room and was not there when they laid Liam to rest. I think that's huge because, I mean, is this a sign that their bond and their love is more than human love? Like, that was his brother.
I agree. It's a very small line, but it's a little like, you didn't go to Liam's
but it's like,
funeral?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. It makes me feel like his love with Violet is just so all-consuming that it has to be more than human love.
I agree. I don't know.
Maybe it was just too much for him because he's obviously shouldering the weight of it.
Everyone deals with grief in different ways.
Very true. Very true.
Because I've definitely known people to not go to funerals of people that they deeply, deeply love.
Exactly. Because of their guilt or their shame or their fear or whatever it is. You're like,
and especially after losing his father the way that he did.
Trauma.
I'm sure watching your own parent executed doesn't really make you want to go to a funeral ever again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Especially with flames.
Yeah. If only they had more time to talk here, maybe Violet would have gotten some more answers that she craves. Xaden admits he will tell her anything she wants to know, and he only wants to fix this between them, although we all know he backpedals a little bit in Iron Flame. But alas, her brother, Brennan Sorrengail, walks into the room, and the fandom screams on this positive cliffhanger. We don't get very many positive cliffhangers in books. And it's really fun to get a positive one here.
Yay.
Yay, indeed. All right. We've yanked at the thread, spun some truly unhinged theories, and probably upset at least one canon purist. So let's ground ourselves a bit. It's time for Roses, where we talk about what worked, what didn't, and which moments had us feral, furious, or fully obsessed.
Feral.
Feral, our favorite word.
All of them.
Yes. I mean, talking about feral, my rose is definitely their first sex scene because
absolutely
there's so many roses in this book. But as I said when we were deep diving it, it's my favorite sex scene I've read in any book. So like hands down, definitely my rose.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean, it's hard for it to not be that, but also, okay, this one's kind of a difficult one because I want to call it a rose in that I love it in such a way, but also it's the most like devastating portion of it. But it's Liam and Day's sacrifice. It's absolutely gutting in the best and most heroic way. And the quote, "It's been my honor," is just so haunting. And it lives with this book alongside violence, you know what I mean? And Violet channeling all of the heartbreak into an epic venom scorching lightning strike, absolute chills. It's her true main character moment. And then Andarna pausing time, like she's like a little pocket-sized powerhouse. She's legendary.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just such that whole chapter, it's devastating. It's beautiful. It's main character energy. We see Violet really come into her own. And I think it's really cool, but also, damn, that sex scene.
I know. It's the sex scene. It's also, now that we've talked about that line, I have no intention of falling for you. I also think that that's dangerous. It's damage. It's delusion. It's everything. That on and then the sex scene, right? It's just like romantasy, royalty, sex scene. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It is absolute perfection. Chef's kiss, no notes. Like
no notes.
I love how even at the end of it, she's like, I didn't get the man's pants all the way off.
Didn't need to.
Didn't need to.
No need.
No need. It's so good.
What about thorns, guys?
My thorn, and we've talked about it a lot, so I'm literally just going to like brush on it, is Violet's anger at Xaden lying to her about the venom. In the beginning, yes, justified, but the way she keeps at it, even when she wakes up in Orisha, I'm just like, girl, seriously? He was proven right 2 seconds after he told you the truth, and you can't forgive him? It just pisses me off.
No,
Yeah.
that's mine as well. Because it is a big thorn. It starts driving me really crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think we're alone. I think a lot of the fandom feels that way. What about you, Ash?
I mean, it's hard because I want to say that Liam's death is just such a thorn because, like, you know it's coming, but it doesn't make it easier. But it's been my honor line. We're just still crying. It's not really a thorn. It's just like the thing I didn't
Devastation.
want to happen.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe
You're not
Dain-
alone.
Yeah, just Dain always. Dain could still be
Dain.
a
Period.
thorn.
Yeah, just Dain, period.
Just Dain, the audacity of Dain.
Yeah.
Dane's audacity.
Yeah, we knew he was a problem, but now this is just like this chunk of chapters just kind of solidified him as a villain disguised as a golden boy,
Yeah. But he's a
Yeah.
villain in a realistic way. I think it reminds me of that chapter about where we talked about the epigraph that was like the people who love you can become your villain.
Of
Mhm.
course.
And maybe
Yeah.
that's actually what that epigraph is pointing to is Dain
I think
doing
it is.
this.
I think it is. Yeah. I mean, it could also be Xaden becoming Venom. It could be any of the things, but I think the fact that there's a nuance to it and we're asking these questions is the point.
Oh, what about buds, you guys?
My bud for this and it leads into the whole series. We've gotten little pieces. I want to know more about Liam's family.
Mhm.
And Liam, I know he dies in this book and it's tragic, but even though he dies, Rebecca Yarros is still giving us Liam's family tree with Sloane, and we're still learning about pieces of him. Like it has been confirmed now, even later in Onyx Storm, that his second signet was always there. I love that he's still being tied into the story in little ways.
Absolutely.
She
Yeah.
has said confirmed that she does not like when dead characters are brought back to life. So many fans keep being like, Liam's gonna come back in some way. Maybe he's the brother at the end of Onyx Storm. And I'm like, what are you guys all smoking?
No.
I mean, but I wonder if he can come back and appear to Xaden.
Oh, as another like gift from
As-
Malik.
Yes, that would bring a whole other nuance to like good and evil if Malik is portrayed as a certain way and also giving guidance to someone who's Venom. Like, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, that's
yeah,
kind of a
that's
fun
interesting.
theory. I like that fun theory.
Okay.
She did say when she wrote Iron Flame that she loved Liam, and that's why that Iron Flame scene exists.
we all
Because
love
she,
Liam.
She was sad she had to kill him off, and she wanted to bring him back in some way. I
Great.
don't think we're going to get more Liam in the rest of the series, but I am excited and hopeful that we'll get to hear more about him in the past sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And find
Yeah.
out more about him, even though he
Yeah.
is no longer with us.
Yeah.
I kind of hope that in one of the epigraphs, it's one of his letters.
Oh, I mean, yeah, we
Oh.
do get some of those in Iron Flame, I
Yeah.
feel like. So I hope we get more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially once Dain and Sloane start having their whatever.
Yeah.
Yee.
They're whatever.
What about you guys? What are your buds?
My bud is Brennan Sorrengail.
Yes.
The
Absolutely.
plot twist that I would argue many of us were not prepared for.
Except for
on a
Ashley. I
first
think
read.
didn't
I
you
did.
Ashley say that you
Yes.
saw Brendan being alive?
I did.
So the not so dead brother just strolling on in like it was no big deal. And that reveal just talk about a whole new vault of secrets and questions, because you start wondering what's his role in Erasure. How long has he known
We still
about
have
everything?
questions.
Yeah,
about
right,
Brennan.
exactly.
We
Even
still
after this
don't
book,
know
yeah.
how he was resurrected, really.
And
Yeah.
it also brings up the fact that his name that he chose is Tirish for resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
good.
know.
She's brilliant with her naming strategy.
Yes.
And also it begs the question as to who else is alive that
Yeah.
we think is dead.
Pay attention to talk about naming strategies. Always pay attention to what the dragon names are, because
Yeah.
Liam's day means ice. Like,
And Ternanok means lightning.
yeah. So if we ever thought that Liam's ice wielding was a mistake, it was not.
Twas not.
Twas not.
Twas not. God,
What about
there's
you,
so
Ash?
much. There's just so much. I think in this book, but also in the series so far, we have is like the what's the true cost of the shadow and the storm, right? Like what's the true cost of lightning? What's the true cost of
A magic.
magic of Xaden's shadows? I think there's so many quotes, right? That it's like, what if the only way to win is to become what you fear? There's so many things. The whole idea of the dragon realm, we've barely scratched the surface with that.
Yeah.
What's their hierarchy? What the laws
Mhm.
of bonding we don't understand? The secrets there? Is there a prophecy? Like
The nesting
playing
ground.
long
Even
game,
even what
right?
we just talked about with the
Yeah.
marked ones having second signets and
Yeah.
the bonding and the going crazy. It's like, is even going crazy a thing that's ever happened?
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Like
What's a lie? What's truth?
Yeah, what's
Yep.
the origin of the venom? Like, I mean, dual signets, the true nature of it. Like, what is all of these things? Like, everything.
So much.
Literally everything. I couldn't love this series more.
Agreed. Well, we've poured over the roses, the moments that made us cheer, cry, and scream. Now let's switch gears and dig deeper with our new segment, Book One Debrief, our Basgiath breakdown. We're talking about the threads we're personally tugging on as we head into Iron Flame, our most unhinged takes on characters and plot twists, dream scenes from Xaden's POV, and the theories we think are most important coming out of Fourth Wing. Ready? Let's get into it.
And before we jump in, I'm just going to briefly explain our change in coverage here. Usually we do Final Showdown, but we felt because we're going into a book we've all also already read, it felt a little weird to do Final Showdown. So this is kind of going to be our segment where we talk just more in length about book one and what we're expecting for the whole series and fun stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with what thread are you personally tugging on going into Iron Flame? So for me, it's Colonel Atos. I think when we read Iron Flame, I want to study him so much more at length than I ever did it before, because as we know, where we are currently in our story, he's still a big role and he still hasn't been figured out. And I feel like there's going to be lots of hints in Iron Flame, more about what Colonel Atos is up to. And even though we don't see him, he keeps sending all of these assassins and things.
Clearly, he has a lot of power.
He does, and I'm going to really be looking at Varish and their relationship and all of those things. I just feel like there are hidden nuggets to explore, and those are the threads I'm going to be personally looking at when we do our next deep dive for the next book.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of merit into Daddy Atos. Another thread that is constantly pulling for me, especially going into these next books, is Brennan. You know, like there is still so many questions surrounding Brendan. I think the biggest one is, did you actually die? Did you actually get resurrected?
Yeah.
Where is Naelin? All of it has to do surrounding him. How long has he known that there was this venom out there? How long was he fighting them? Who else knows past Brennan? Yeah. So many questions.
I mean,
I agree.
gosh, I don't know. When we were just doing this episode, I was like, maybe Naolin's fate, the whole idea of what happened there, like Violet's line that was like, I'm not Naolin, feels less like closure and more like foreshadowing, maybe in a way. Like, I don't know, maybe Violet's chasing his legacy. I feel like I keep going back to the cost of lightning. That's my big one. I can't stop thinking about what it means that Violet's lightning is literally the only thing that can kill a venom, not just like in the narrative, but like cosmically. If lightning cleanses rot, then what's the price? Is it her soul? Is it someone she loves? Is it the world? Is it magic? She keeps surviving because Aunt Darna literally keeps stopping time.
Yeah.
Like, that's not luck. It's like, it's a countdown of something. And so what's the countdown to, right? What are we counting down?
Ooh.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
All right, let's talk about our most unhinged opinions about a character or plot twist that we discussed during this coverage. I think my most unhinged one, I want to know what happened to Liam's dad, really. It's such like a small, weird thing that I feel like is probably doesn't have to do with anything else in the story. I think it's never coming up again. But what if he is a venom? Where did he go? What happened? I'm just like, it's so dumb. It's so dumb. It's so dumb.
No, it's kind of what this whole group chat turned podcast is about, right?
Right. I mean, I do think it probably was just Navarre being shady and killing someone they didn't really have the right to kill. But what if he really is a venom and we run into Liam's dad later? It's unhinged, and it's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but it's fun.
What about you, Ashley?
I don't know. The most unhinged, like the thing that I think is probably not
The most
correct,
unlikely.
but
Yeah.
the most unlikely would be that like maybe Mira is more dangerous than Lilith was in some way.
Ooh.
She's in a position of power. She is definitely painted in a light of strong ass woman, but also like bestie friend protecting Violet from the system. But like, what if she is the system and she knows exactly what their mother was doing?
I mean, I don't know if you know this, but there is a theory out there a lot of people think that the three brothers story that we get in the epigraphs mirrors Mira, Brennan, and Violet. And a lot of people think that means that one of them is going to betray the other two. And a lot of people think that that is Mira.
Mira. Well, that would make sense to me. Well, interesting that my unhinged theory has something to do with that. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay. Well,
I don't think Mira's going to betray her. I think
I don't think so
that would be
either.
crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't actually think the whole three brothers thing is a coincidence to the three Soren girl siblings. I don't think it doesn't even really make sense because none of the three of them are flyers, right? One became a
Right.
flyer, one became a dragon rider, one became a veteran. So like it
Right.
doesn't really like make sense.
Right.
But it is a fun theory.
Yeah. Okay, great.
Didn't Mira get kidnapped by the venom?
Yes.
Exactly, right? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. And she's all right? She lived to tell the tale, huh?
Yeah, but you never know.
Yeah,
She
fair.
could something else could happen. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really like unhinged, but I'm going to go back to Dain being a narrative cock blocker. I'm sticking to that. I mean, every single time Violet and Xaden are about to have an honest emotional moment or an actual plot progression, like boom, Dain shows up and he's like a memory sucking beige flag with a
Beige
savior
flag.
complex. Like,
Yeah.
he's clearly allergic to communication, might be the most dangerous in the room because he thinks he's the hero. And
Oh yeah.
he's a bit of an emotional vampire. So
Mm.
I don't know. It's not that unhinged, but he does
Here we
have a
go.
plot twist coming up that we know.
Yeah. Let's skip to what we think our most relevant theory to the whole series is that comes out of Fourth Wing, though.
Ooh.
Yeah. I think the most relevant things we learn in Fourth Wing are the quotes from the Fables of the Baron.
Yeah.
Good one.
Because we actually don't really get many more quotes from the Fables of the Baron. It's kind of like once like they learn about that book, they kind of move on from it. And or at least Violet does.
Mm-hmm.
And I think those quotes are extremely important about the three brothers, about Venom and power and all the little details that we learn
Mm-hmm.
about demonizing of dragons. Yeah. So I think if we take anything out of our Fourth Wing deep dive, it's that we should really hold on to those quotes and keep paying attention to them.
The most relevant theory to the whole series for me is that the dragons choose for a reason. Every dragon bond is obviously intentional, like not just for survival, but to fulfill some ancient prophecy. And I think Tarn and Andarna obviously didn't just choose Violet. They're stacking the deck. And what's the bigger thing at play here? Like the dragons know what's coming.
Yeah, so are the other dragons.
They all know what's coming, and they're assigning riders like chess pieces. And that's why like dual bonds and rare signets and shadow lightning pairings keep showing up. The dragons aren't the side characters. They are pulling the strings of theory. Yeah.
This also just made me think of another reason Naolan probably, to me, is not Venom, is look at Tarn. Tarn chose Naolan and Violet, and he's clearly on the side of fighting for the continent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if he chose Naolan as his rider, I don't think Naolan would be a likely candidate to be someone who would turn Venom.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas Sigale chose Xaden because of how ruthless he is.
And he also turns Venom for so different reasons. It's not for
it's
power.
True.
It's like,
no,
and Sigale could never have seen him turning.
No.
He did it for love.
Yeah. So yeah,
So mine is that the scribes are the real villains.
Okay.
And that the magic is being manipulated. So Violet's dad died for digging too deep.
Mm-hmm.
Her mom's whole arc screams that she's hiding something catastrophic.
Mm-hmm.
And the scribes, they gatekeep the ancient knowledge like it's their full-time job, because it is. And what if the real power lies in rewriting the narrative literally? Because if you think about it, signets, memories, even the truth about Venom, it's all being filtered through what the scribes decide to preserve. Somewhere down the line, some scribe decided to not scribe.
Yeah, I mean, and they're
that
also,
was on purpose. Yes.
Yes, they're also hiding the truth about the Venom. Obviously, like, you know, that's
I think if the scribes are hiding anything to do with magic, it's specifically around ward marks, wards, and runes.
But I think it's the transcribing of the information to paper to other people that can eventually read it.
Yeah, they're certainly gatekeepers. I think it's also interesting, right? Didn't her father say that the real power is in the archives, not in the
Mhm.
battlefield?
Right. And it's
Yeah.
true.
And as we know, one generation can change everything.
Right?
It's
What
true.
if the real war is over the narrative of it all?
I mean, it
Narrative,
is.
Navarre.
Ah,
Narrative.
Narrative.
I love it.
All right, lastly, for our coverage for Fourth Wing, we're going to talk about if Rebecca Yarros decided to bless us with one more bonus POV from Xaden's perspective from Fourth Wing, what scene would we want? I think she's already given us more than enough, but if she blessed us again.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, from Fourth Wing. Okay.
I think the next one will probably be from Iron Flame, but if she ever did do another one from Fourth Wing, I would want Xaden's POV of Reunification Day of that chapter where he
It's a good one.
Yeah, I would just love to see the emotional, real turmoil he goes through feeling about his father, about what
Yeah.
happened. And then also the conversation he has with Violet on the parapet of what he's
Yes.
really thinking about when
Yes.
when she tells him that she loves him and he finally gives into the relationship. I want to hear all that from his POV because I feel like it's actually different from what Violet gives us.
Yeah,
I agree.
I agree.
I think the parapet was one of the first ones that came to mind for me as well for those same reasons. And I also think I would love to hear a POV when she wields lightning for the first time.
Oh, and he's sending her all the images, or their first kiss,
or well, I mean, all of them.
all of them. You want a whole book
No,
of Xaden's POV?
Yes, I just want a whole book of
Just the whole
Xaden's
book, but through
Yes.
Xaden.
Yeah.
through his yes.
But I know I pointed out a couple in this episode already, but the one that I would absolutely love to see is when Violet gets stabbed and he is racing her to Erasure. I mean, I want to feel the desperation. I want to hear about the rage. I want that whole I will burn down the world if you die moment. I
Right.
think it would just be so good.
It would be, and we don't really get that because by the time we get into his POV at the point of the book, he knows that she's probably going to be okay, and he's just like waiting for her to wake up.
And also the decision making of like Basgiath or Erasure, tell her, don't tell her.
Right.
Obviously, I have to tell her. Then I'm going to show her Brennan right after Liam being dead. Like, this is just, it's so crazy. From his perspective, this would be brilliant and intense.
Well, that's a wrap on our Fourth Wing deep dive. We've pulled at the threads, unraveled mysteries, and maybe even made a few wild predictions along the way. But hold on to your dragons because the story isn't over yet.
That's right. Next week, we are jumping straight into Iron Flame, the sequel where things get even hotter, even darker, and even messier. Expect new secrets, deeper character moments, and of course, all the juicy drama that we and you have been waiting for.
So buckle up, everyone. Whether you're here for the theories, the swoons, or the chaos, Iron Flame promises to deliver it all. Don't forget to follow and tune in next week. You won't want to miss a single second of this ride. See you there.
Saucy
Scribes
out.
Love you guys.